this is the section about molarity, and this is the last example problem there is. It wants to describe how to prepare 2.5 times 10 to the second milliliters of a 0.5 molar sodium sulfate, and it wants to know what mass in grams of sodium sulfate is needed. So when you see something that says describe how you prepare, you're looking for typically both a mass and then what do you do with that mass. Again, we're going to start out with the same way. A milliliter is a unit of volume, so I have volume is 2.50 times 10 to the second milliliters. I have a capital M here, so that's molarity, is 0.50 molar sodium sulfate. It wants to know what is the mass in grams of that sodium sulfate. Okay, so again, molarity is something that I have a unit for, or formula for. Molarity is equal to moles over volume. I have a volume, I have a molarity. I'm looking for mass, but I can now solve for N. So the only thing is that the volume has to be in liters. So I take the 2.50 times 10 to the second milliliters. And then the conversion is that 1 milliliter is 1 times 10 to the minus 3 liters. So it's going to be 0.250 liters. So I have 0.50 is equal to N divided by 0.250. I need to multiply both sides by the 0.250, so 0.50 times 0.250 is equal to N. And when I do that, N is equal to 0.125, and that's in moles. And N, which is moles, is the mass divided by the molar mass. Well, I have N from up here. I'm looking for mass, and again, I know what the compound is. As long as I know what the compound is, I can find its molar mass. So I need to do that. Molar mass is 2 times 22.99. And yes, it's very tempting to round that to 23, but please don't. For sodium, plus the 32.07 for the sulfur. I'm going to go down, plus 4 times the 16, and that's the oxygen. And so when I do that, I get 142.05 grams per mole. Now I can substitute in numbers. I have 0.125 is equal to mass divided by 142.05. Again, I need to multiply to isolate this. This is division. I need to multiply. So 0.125 times the 142.05 is equal to mass. And when I do that, I get the mass is equal to 17.8 grams. And again, like I said, there's usually a description. So the description would be something like weigh 17.8 grams sodium sulfate into a 2.50 times 10 to the second milliliter volumetric flask. And dilute to the mark. So that would be how you would prepare it. And just so you want to know where that came from, if you look at the previous problem, oops, not that one. In the first problem that we did, it says that the 1.2 grams is placed in a 100 milliliter volumetric flask, which is then filled to the mark with water. That's basically what I said. I just used the mass and the volume for this particular problem. And that is the end of this section.